The Elves and the Shoemaker. Once upon a time, long, long ago, there lived a poor shoemaker who worked really hard and long, but his fortunes never prospered. He was so poor that he had only enough leather to make one pair of shoes every day. And sometimes, if the luck was not good, that pair of shoes would not get sold. One evening, Thomas, for that is the name of our shoemaker, was very tired. So he left the leather cut by candlelight and left it on his workbench, ready to start work in the morning. Then sadly, with a sigh, he and his wife went off to bed. But next morning, when he went into his workshop, he was really surprised. The shoemaker found that the shoes were already ready, beautifully sewn. Puzzled but very pleased, he called to his wife Sarah to come and see them. "These are beautiful. They are the finest shoes I have ever seen," cried Sarah. The shoemaker put the shoes in the center of his window, where they were seen by the mayor. He came in and bought them for 5 golden pieces. With the money, Thomas bought more leather and cut it out and left it once more on his workbench. Next morning, 2 more exquisite pairs of shoes were ready and waiting to be sold. "These are fit for a nobleman," cried Thomas, as he admired the neat stitching and delicate embroidery. "You are so right, dear husband," replied Sarah. And soon enough, a fine chariot stopped outside the shop. In came a wealthy lord, and he bought the shoes for himself and his son. Each evening, Thomas cut out the leather for the shoes, and every morning several pairs of shoes were ready to be sold. News of the wonderful shoes travelled far and wide, and people flocked to the shoemaker's shop to buy his lovely shoes. Soon Thomas and his wife grew rich, and they were very happy with their good fortune. But the shoemaker and his wife grew curious about their secret helpers. They wanted to know who was helping them. And one night, as Christmas drew near, they decided to stay up and see what would happen. So, leaving a candle burning on the bench, they hid behind a curtain. As the clock struck midnight, in through the half-open window, who do you think came in? 2 dancing little elves. Quickly, the 2 little elves settled down to work, and the shoemaker and his wife watched in amazement as the needles flew in and out, and pair after pair of shoes was finished. Then, their work completed, the elves left as quietly as they had appeared. Next morning, when they sat down at breakfast, Sarah said to her husband, "Did you see how poorly clad those 2 dear little creatures were, Thomas? Their clothes were torn. There was a hole in their cap. They have been so good to us that I feel I must repay their kindness. I shall make them some new clothes." "That is a splendid idea. Then I shall make them each a fine pair of boots," replied Thomas. So for the next few days, the shoemaker and his wife were very busy making clothes and shoes for the elves. Sarah made each little fellow a vest, a shirt, trousers, a pair of stockings and a cap. And Thomas made 2 pairs of strong red boots. Then, when all was ready, Thomas and Sarah put the clothes on the workbench, and they hid behind the curtain to watch the elves. When they saw the clothes, the elves were really delighted. They put on the clothes, and laughing and chattering happily to each other, they admired themselves in the mirror. One seized a silver thimble and put it on his head for a hat, but when he saw the beautiful cap that Sarah had made for him, he put that on instead. Behind the curtain, Thomas and Sarah gazed at each other happily, glad that their gifts had been so well received. Suddenly, the two little elves leapt upon the table and began to sing a little song. Now, dear friends, we bid farewell, for you must know and you must remember how fairies like us give gifts and then go away. And so, alas, we want to, but we no longer can stay. With a gallant little bow in the direction of the curtain, the two little elves jumped down from the table and disappeared into the moonlit night. The shoemaker and his wife never saw them again from that night. But while leaving, the elves had done something. They had left some of their magic in the needles, and Thomas was able to make just as fine shoes as ever. His shop was never empty of customers, and he and his wife lived happily together in wealth and comfort, thanks to the help of the two little elves.